Well, by now you likely know why we're doing this video, and if you don't, then that sounds like a you problem. For those of you unaware, Jensen Karp, who is a comedian, writer, and married to the actor who played Topanga in Boy Meets World, was shocked to find what appears to be shrimp in his cereal, more specifically Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Upon further inspection, well, I'll save that for later, but all you gotta know is that this guy found shrimp in his Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and it became headline news. So naturally, we thought to ourselves, well, I doubt Jensen is the only person who has dealt with this before. In fact, I too have once had quite an unpleasant experience at a movie theater, but I'll get to that later as well, if I remember. Today on InformOverload, we're counting down the top 10 shocking, unexpected things found in food. Smash that like button, or one day I'll secretly put something in your food. Just once, but your whole life in the back of your mind before every meal, you're gonna think about it. Just save yourself the hassle and hit the like button, because I don't want to have to do that. So starting us off at 10, we got Milky Way tooth. On New Year's Day 2020, great start to the year, Sue Calhoun and her husband decided to head down to Dallas to pick up a new tractor. On the way, she grabbed a candy bar and a soda, a very common ritual Sue follows while on road trips. And that first bite was as great as the last. The soft chocolate, the creamy goodness, yum. But that second bite, well, it definitely wasn't like the first or any other bite she's taken out of a Milky Way before. I quote her saying, "I took one bite and it was fine. So I took another bite and bit down on something and thought, well, it may be a peanut. I thought Milky Bars don't have peanut or any kind of nuts in it. I look at it and thought, oh gosh, gross. How terrible. It's a tooth." Thankfully, Sue didn't harm any of her own teeth, but still, pretty disgusting. Mars Candy, the parent company of Milky Way, reached out, apologized, and offered some candy bar coupons, as well as a courier service to pick up the candy and tooth, something Sue didn't want to do. Instead, she decided to take it to her local dentist in hopes of finding out whether or not the tooth was a filling or from someone's mouth directly, like, I guess, a fresh jaw tooth, as she called it. I don't know how it turned out, but either way, disgusting. At number 9, shrimp in Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I mean, this story is still unraveling right before our eyes, but long story short, Jensen Karp poured himself some Cinnamon Toast Crunch, only to find what looked to be cinnamon toast coated shrimp mixed in. Things got worse when he found small brown things baked into the cereal, and the other bag in the same box being taped up on the bottom. It appears there was also string in one bag and dental floss in the other, so who knows what's going on with this situation. General Mills, the parent company of CTC, offered to pay for the courier service as well to get the product, but unsurprisingly Karp wasn't so inclined. Instead, he's having both the shrimp and the brown stuff tested in separate labs, might be rat poo, and we just need to wait and see how things play out. Talk about a fishy situation. That joke doesn't even make sense, because shrimp aren't fish. On to number 8, maggot in Ferrero Rocher. I hate that they chose me to do this list, because when I tell you guys there are way more than 10 things, there are. It's not like 50 different things that are disgusting. And some of them were found in some of my favorite foods, like Ferrero Rocher. You guys know how good these things are? They genuinely should be illegal. These are just as addictive as other things that tend to make you feel good and likely way worse for you. But that's not what this is about, folks. No. Instead, we've got to talk about the extra ingredient one customer found in her chocolates. Rachel Vile, with all due respect, that last name is perfect for the story, was absolutely disgusted when she found maggots in her chocolates. And it's not like there was just one maggot on one piece of chocolate. Instead, every freshly wrapped chocolate would reveal a handful of live maggots squirming around the chocolate, going in and out of the little holes, and having a little feast. To make matters worse, Rachel and her roommate had already eaten a few before the discovery, and when Ferrero Rocher got in touch, they pretty much said it wasn't their fault. After claiming that they have strict quality control, Ferrero went on to say in a press release or statement, I guess, I quote, "Our products need to be stored carefully to preserve their characteristics, and we advise specific storage conditions on the product packaging and on our Ferrero Rocher website." So it's Rachel's fault for not properly putting it away in the right spot. Got it. Now at number 7, Black Widow and grapes. If you guys hate spiders, you're not going to want to eat grapes ever again. Thankfully for me, I like to eat both. Back in 2016, a family from New Hampshire got more than they bargained for when they took a trip to the grocery store. After coming home and putting things away, they left the grapes on the counter, waiting for a good wash. Important to wash your fruits and veggies before chowing down, folks. However, when Rachel went to wash the grapes, she grabbed the bag and noticed what appeared to be a web. And then she saw a Black Widow spider just kind of chilling there. Wild times. She explained, I quote, "As I kept washing the grapes, they seemed to have little marks on them, which made me a little more suspicious. So I picked up the container and looked inside and saw the large spider in there, and screamed." For those of you unaware, Black Widow spiders have some of the most powerful venom in the world. Rachel's husband killed the spider, and the family would reach out to the company who sells the grapes, Market Basket. They explained, I quote, "The fruit was organic and no pesticides are used. When you don't use pesticides, there is a possibility of this happening, but we do inspect all our food when it comes into our warehouse. So either eat chemicals or venomous spiders." Very fun. Pick your poison, folks, literally. At number 6, mouse in bread. You guys know the Cat in the Hat, Elf on a Shelf, Mensch on a Bench. Well, let me introduce you to the mouse head in the bread. In January 2009, Stephen Forrest of Oxfordshire bought some loaves of bread online through a Tesco store. And while he was making sandwiches for his kids, he noticed, I quote, "a dark colored object embedded in the corner of 3 or 4 slices. Initially, I thought it was where the dough had not mixed properly prior to baking. As I looked closer, I saw that the object had fur on it." After calling in the proper authorities to take a look at things, Forrest explained, I quote, Her, the inspectors, comments made me feel ill once again, as there was no indication as to where the tail was. Had it fallen off prior to the bread being wrapped, or had any of my family eaten it with another slice of bread on a previous day? A spokesperson for Premier Foods who sells the bread apologized and explained it was an isolated incident, but still, they had a thorough investigation which required stopping all production of products. At number 5, razor blade ice cream. If you've ever been to Walmart, you've likely seen their own brand, great value, in almost every aisle. And it seems they stay true to their word, as not only are you getting products at a great value, but sometimes you get more than expected. That was the case for a woman in Texas who back in 2011 found a razor blade in her peanut butter ice cream. After a few bites and a potential brain freeze, she had noticed something had cut her lip. At first, she thought maybe it was just like tin foil, but no, it was a piece of a broken blade. How? I honestly, guys, like, how? The next day she called Walmart, and when I tell you guys, they gave the most Walmart answer ever. I quote the woman saying, "I don't think 'I'm sorry, I hope your day gets better' is an appropriate response to 'I found a razor blade in my ice cream.' Clearly an anomaly, but like, not even a gift card or a refund? But just 'I'm sorry, I hope your day gets better'? Then again, it's Walmart, so I mean, you kind of get, what you get." On to number 4, Arby's sandwich skin. This one really gets me going because it's absolutely repulsive and disgusting, like every other number on this list. 14-year-old Ryan Hart from Michigan went to a local Arby's. I wonder what he was thinking. Probably Arby's. Either way, he got a burger and after taking a bite, realized something was definitely wrong. After feeling what felt like a rubber chewy thing, Hart spit it out and in his own words, "I was like, that has to be a finger. I was about to puke. It was nasty." Apparently what had happened here is an employee cut her finger on a meat slicer and went to go take care of her issue immediately without notifying the other employees. Not that she has an obligation to be like, "Hey, can you take over here? I just cut my finger off and I'm bleeding out." Sometimes you gotta look out for numero uno. However, given that the employees didn't realize what happened, they kept packaging food, and that included a piece of the injured employee's finger, which was now all mixed together with whatever else was being made in the sandwich. Now, I will say, guys, I don't know how no one saw the blood either, but look, I'm not a detective. I think there'd be a bunch of red stuff if you cut off your finger and people would be like, "Is that blood?" But maybe not. I don't know. Either way, gross. Maybe it's just like a busy day at Arby's. Number 3, Condom Big Mac. The next time you're at McDonald's, you need to be very specific with what you want in your burger. Apparently at Arby's too. A man in Alabama was pretty disgusted to find a condom in his Big Mac, which for those of you who don't know, normally doesn't come on Big Macs. Now, as wild as this story is, it's also kind of funny to me. So this guy gets a couple Big Macs, eats one, and then as he bites into another, he bit into the rubber. When he went to complain as per court documents, because this turned into a lawsuit, I quote, "The manager observed the condom, which had deteriorated on the sandwich when it was microwaved, turned and went to the back of the building where Smith could see her and called 7 different guys out. After asking the other employees who did it, the court doc reads, I quote, "The guys all giggled and laughed, but nobody denied putting the condom in the sandwich." The case was eventually thrown out by a judge as the defendant was claiming he was both physically and emotionally affected by this, which, a bit of a stretch there, and the judge wasn't falling for it. Like, you just bit into it, realized it was a condom. Pretty gross. Maybe he won't go to McDonald's again. Not such a bad thing. It's not good food, so why would you go there? I went to McDonald's this morning, so I shouldn't talk. At number 2, Gerber baby food. Back in 1986, the Gerber baby food incident made headlines for a while, as 30 different states across the US had complaints about shards of glass being mixed in with sealed baby food. You guys heard me correctly. But this time around, it's because some of the babies had actually dealt with the worst of this incident, as you can imagine. Can't really speak much on it, but put 2 and 2 together. Messed up, folks. Very, very messed up. In at 1, nails in the mac and cheese. It was 2008 when a woman from UK noticed her mac and cheese had an added crunch. And by crunch, I mean it had a very hard, metally taste at times. That's because there were 2-inch long nails mixed in with her pasta, which I genuinely don't understand how someone doesn't notice that. Really think about this one, guys. I'm sorry, but don't you strain the water from the noodles? Like, you take it, strain all the water out, so you'd hear like the nails like you'd hear it clinging around. Don't you mix in butter and powdered cheese and milk? How would you not see 2-inch long nails while you're mixing that all together? I'm sorry, I really can't. This is like the one that I'm just like, I don't feel bad, because how? How do you miss that? Either way, guys, that's not the worst part. This woman actually ingested a nail, and upon going to the doctors, they determined it had already made its way through most of her body, so surgery wasn't really possible. Instead, it had to come out the natural way. Ouchie. But again, like, how? Do you not chew your food? Like, a 2-inch nail is at least that big, and you're just gonna swallow that? I can't even swallow pills that big. And there you guys have it for the top 10 shocking, unexpected things found in food. Let me know your thoughts on this one down below. For now, let's do some common replies from the video. Man finds shrimp in Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal. Just feel it's very fitting. Real quick though, I do want to mention, guys, what I found in my food. I was at a movie theater and my parents told me I found a nail in my food, but it wasn't like a 2-inch nail. It was like an acrylic nail, which is more disgusting. I'd rather have like a nail than someone's glued on nail from their finger. I mean, I was a kid, so I don't really remember it, but still, disgusting. Annie Maquette said, side note, anyone else panicked thinking Jared cut his hair, but in reality, he has a man bun in the back of his head. Sigh of relief. Well, hate to break your guys' hearts, guys, but I'm cutting my hair tomorrow. Sorry, it's the life of an actor. My agent was like, hey, your hair's getting long. And I was like, I know. And she's like, you should cut it. And I was like, all right, I'm over it, guys. So here, take one last good look. you know, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Here it is in all of its goodness, and I'm over it, so we should all get over it. Disney Dallas said, Topanga's husband finds shrimp in Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Fixed your headline. 100%. I'm never gonna let this die down. Like, I understand people want to, you know, give the guy credit or whatever. I mean, no, like now he's getting dragged because apparently he was a crazy, oh, I don't want to use the word crazy, but manipulative ex-boyfriend, which again, you know, I only know the surface. I haven't really deep dived into the whole story, but I'm just hearing this stuff. And it's like, bro, like, ugh. You could be Topanga's husband. That's where it stops for me. Because Topanga is like, boo, you know? She's Topanga. Corey, Topanga, that's like how I knew what love was. Capt Avi said, I still wonder how much he ate before he found that. That's a good question. Very good question. Probably a couple bowls. I'm actually curious how much popcorn I ate before I found the nail. I'll ask my parents. All right, guys, that's all for this one. I've been your host, Jared Bronson, and we'll see you guys soon.